Hi, I'm Chelsea Williams,
Hi, I'm Michelle Contreras.
and we are Group 67.
The article we're doing our project on was found on the New York Times.
And basically, our article is about California and a little city in Orange County called San Juan Capistrano. Basically, they're all in a severe drought, and the government is trying to regulate them so that they reduce the usage of water that they're using. And they probably have violated this voter pass amendment in their constitution that states that the government agencies can't charge more for services than their actual costs, meaning that the water that they're putting these high rates on is actually being bought for a less amount that it's being obtained and distributed for. So they're basically screwing over the consumers and trying to make them not use the water anymore.
The stakeholders in this situation will be the citizens of San Juan Capistrano because they are the ones paying the higher price for this water.
And all in all of the citizens in California, because once they regulate this in one little part of Orange County, they're going to want to regulate this in all parts of California.
The issues related to morals or ethics would be that, well, first of all, everyone has different beliefs that can cause conflicts amongst groups. For some people, the idea of pricing or conservation pricing is great because it influences many to consume less of the limited resource. And since California is currently in a drought, I think it'd be better overall for like environmentalists or even just for like state in the long run. Now moving on to the legal or political frame of the gray box. Politically, there are others who believe that the tier pricing or charging more for the use of water is ethically wrong. The country of San Juan Capistrano has a voter pass amendment that prohibits government agencies from charging more for services than their actual cost. The only way that tier pricing could be legally correct is if the water agency can show that the price of producing water is connected to the amount they charge. Since currently the water agency has failed to do so, they are technically breaking a law.
Yeah, and with that being said, the courts are siding with the people and showing the regulators and the governor of California that just because you have the power to, regulate the pricing of water doesn't mean that legally you can do that. This proposition was created back in '96, but it's still part of their state constitution. They have to abide by that, and that is what the courts is trying to influence them and tell them, like, you still can't do this. Although you know, right now we're in a really bad drought. And so, yeah, so the courts are siding with the consumers and not the regulators or any government official.
So also there's like a quote in the readings that said that they're not doing what is ethically or morally correct, but what is more politically and legally correct, since they are going by the amendment that was passed by the citizens instead of saying, oh, we don't have too much of this resource. They just want to do what is legally correct.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go on to the issues related to the culture of the organization or leadership. I personally don't feel that there is an issue with the culture of the organization, of any organization or leadership. There's a problem with the local governments thinking that they can just do what they want because there is a drought or because there's something going on with the environment. People still have to live their lives, and raising water, which is something we all need, is not gonna do anything other than piss people off. And there is that proposition in place, and they have to abide by it. And so, with that being said, legally, they have to abide by that proposition, or else they're breaking the law.
So with everything being said, do you think, well, I guess we can't really say ethically correct because the state of Texas isn't, the state,
The state of California.
the state of California isn't going by what's ethically correct. Do you think that's even right? I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay. So basically, the argument for this entire article is about whether the even though they're in a drought, should the government just be able to raise prices on water because they're trying to conserve it for the environment and for all of us because they're limited on resources? But legally, they can't because there is a law in place. So we're thinking, like, what if water was like we had an abundance of water? Would they charge less for water, or would it stay at the crazy $1.99 rate that it is at right now when we go to the store or when we go out to eat? You know what I'm saying? So our counter argument would be for the article would be
Is it even right to charge such high prices? Yeah, you have limited resources, but when there's an abundance, are you going to charge less? Or as a company, are you just going to charge to make more money? That's what the gray box says of money. Does it just, the business is in it to make money, rather just expand.
And also for a counter argument, you can look at it environmentally, like we're doing this for the environment, not just for money's sake, but we can't just raise prices because we decided to use all of the resources.
And if that's the case, why isn't this law implemented anywhere else?
Yeah.
And just why only in in California where there's a drought right now?
Yeah, because Texas also has a drought. So yeah, so our counter argument would basically be like, if there was an abundance of water, would there be lower prices? Or if we're looking at it environmentally, trying to conserve water for us since our resources are limited. So basically the conclusion of this entire article is that the courts ruled with the consumers, that the regulators in the local government have to abide by the Proposition 218, that they can't set higher prices based on services.